Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios, it's time for Women in Motion. Brought to you by WBEC West. Join forces, succeed together. Now, here's your host.
Lee Kantor here, another episode of Women in Motion, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, WeBec West. Without them, we couldn't be sharing these important stories. Today on Women in Motion, we have Lizette Espinosa with Infanttech. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I actually always like talking about business and women and entrepreneurship, so I'm excited.
I am too. Before we get too far into things, tell us about Infanttech. How are you serving folks?
Well, Infanttech was a company that was founded between me and my husband. We always joke around that it is our third baby because we created a baby monitor for cars called the Zooby. And we wanted to help first-time moms, first-time parents. And it specifically came into being because of my own experience with parenting and motherhood. And, if someone would have told me we would be here today, I would not have believed it. Transitioned from being an attorney to running this company. But I love how we help first-time parents, especially first-time moms. My personal journey when I first had, being a first-time mom, the first month I called it where it's like the world closed in on me, where I couldn't believe how any woman could do anything else besides take care of a baby. Because it was such a transitional point in life. And so to know that we created a product that can help moms make this moment be a little bit easier for them, that actually brings me joy. And I'm excited about that. And then also Infanttech helps, there's like different pillars that we have in the company when it comes to employees, when it comes to financial contributions, when it comes to vision. So this is how we're here.
So tell me about kind of the beginning. So did you have a kid and then you have this idea and then you're like, okay, my law practice, I'm going to put on hold and I'm going to just kind of be a product innovator in this space? Like what occurred?
How did that happen, right? It definitely wasn't that quickly. It was definitely a transitional journey, but I did have my law practice. I was litigating. And interestingly enough, that is actually a hard thing with the baby of like the start and stop of having my own litigation practice. And what happened when we came up with this idea, my husband is the techie side. And so he created a prototype and we started getting a lot of good feedback from people. They're like, wow, that's a great idea. How come that's not out there yet? Because we actually did break the market with this, a baby monitor for cars. It didn't exist. And so we started off at the, typical story of every Mondays at the kitchen table, brainstorming and taking actions to get closer to this happening until eventually I think the hardest part was the manufacturing. How do you actually create a product? And neither my husband and I had any experience here. But eventually I think when the idea happened, to by the time that I transitioned fully into it, maybe was about 3 years in. And I actually love it now. I love the combination of business and law. For me, my career has always been, it was probably one of my most challenging parts in my life, where I have done different things in my life. And I've been trying to answer the question since I was about 8. What am I going to do with myself? And if somebody told me that I would be doing this, I would have said like, well, that's actually interesting, but I wouldn't have believed it. But I love it now. Again, I actually love the combination of business and law. I get to be creative outside of just the legal field when it comes to product development, helping people. I love working with my team. And from the legal side, I actually love that I have this business, the legal background. Because of my litigation experience, it's easy for me to look at contracts. It's one of those things where I might not be doing the day-to-day things, but I guarantee you that it comes up every single day. So that's how I ended up fully transitioning into this role.
And then, so the product, let's get into the product zooby. You mentioned that it is a monitor of some kind. So how does it work? I'm on the website now, and it looks like it's a stuffed animal of some kind, and it has a video camera somewhere in its nose or its face of some way.
So it's actually, so it's a zooby baby monitor for cars. You actually have one right there. So the camera, it's inside the plush, and it sits on the headrest facing a rear-facing baby, because I'm not sure if you're aware how when you have a newborn, they've got to be rear-facing for at least 2 years in the car. So this makes it hard for the moms to be able to see them, and they're having these things where they need to turn around to look at them, which makes driving dangerous. So with the zooby, you've got the camera facing the baby, and then you have a monitor screen, kind of like a GPS monitor, or even like having your cell phone with your navigation system. And you put it on your dashboard, and now the parent can see their baby day or night when they're driving. So it took away the mirrors. It's one of these where, especially the night vision, so you can see your baby at night. You have a close-up view. And if you're taking quick glances, it actually it's just another tool for you to drive safely. So I'm so excited about what it does bring to moms and peace of mind. Because what happens to moms, and particularly the biological changes for moms, it's like all of a sudden they were downloaded a program of like, gotta keep this baby safe. So their instincts to do things to keep their baby alive, sometimes you're going to have those dangerous moments of that turnaround. Even though you know you're not supposed to do it, you can't help yourself. So the zooby here allows them to be able to focus on the road and still have their peace of mind that they're safe and their baby's safe.
So why was it important to put the monitor inside a plush animal?
It actually, when we were creating it, it was out of how easily can we get it in the car. So it became a function of ease of use, taking it in and taking it out. It allowed us to have the portability. And the good news about it is that it actually helps the baby. So we get a lot of comments from moms that it soothes them. The baby smile at it. It's one of those where it becomes their little buddy. And we just came up with different push designs to help them. But it really was functionality at first.
And then can it transform like into a nanny cam of some kind? Like if you brought it in the house?
This one, so you actually can still monitor in the house. It's not a Wi-Fi version, because it's just, it's radio frequency. And that's another conversation for another day. But it really does serve as a monitor where you can use it at home. So if you have it in the nursery, then you can take the monitor screen inside. Even if you're visiting grandma's house, you'd still be able to use your zooby. Or even if you're traveling, you go to a hotel and sometimes baby has to sleep in a different room, you can still have your monitor. So it is multifunctional.
So when you had the idea and you brought it to market, how did kind of the initial launch of it go? Were you getting good traction right from go?
Actually we did not. It was one of those where we needed to do some education because we did break the market into a baby monitor for cars. This didn't exist before. At the beginning, I'd say all of the baby monitors, 99% are hardwired, just have a wire and they stay in the nursery and that's it. There really wasn't anything for the car. So at the beginning, that was a head turner. It's like, what, for cars? And so once we got the education part, like, yes, it's for cars. Here's what you get to do. I think some of our biggest challenges at the beginning was we went to a trade show and we sold it to other vendors, and then they all put it on the Amazon market. And we realized, they're like saturating the market. So we had to learn from that experience to bring it back so that actually right now we control our Amazon market and we're the brand ambassadors to our product. And, after a few years though, it definitely has taken off. It's one of those where, there's been other products that have come out since. So I'm excited that now people do recognize that you can have a baby monitor for cars.
So then, what was it like kind of building that initial partner network? Had you ever done anything like that before?
Which
Well, when you said that there were several people that you were partnering with that were reselling the monitors.
Oh, those were the vendors. So when we originally started with it's interesting. We changed our business model. At the beginning, we started out selling to other vendors. So it was probably sold wholesale. And then we realized it's actually easier to sell directly to consumers. So right now we're an e-commerce brand. You'll find us on our Shopify site, and we sell on Amazon, Walmart, about to get into Macy's. And I actually appreciate this model better from a business perspective because I have direct contact with the consumers and the customers. So I get to know what they need and the feedback out there. So I prefer the direct consumer. So we had to switch. Originally, I think when we dealt with vendors, it was harder also to control, you would have price points all over the place.
Right. Well, that's part of the learning curve of being an entrepreneur, right? That's just, you try things and then you adjust.
Yes.
Now, what
you've got to do all along.
What is it like when you're in the entrepreneur, where you're wearing the entrepreneur hat as opposed to the lawyer hat in terms of kind of managing how do you kind of grow this business? Because in this world, like you said, you were breaking a market, so you had to educate the market, where being a lawyer, that has its own set of challenges, but, there was a path for being a lawyer.
You bring in that question resonates with me when it comes to my experience in business. So even though I had formal training in the law, I didn't have a formal business background, even though I think a lot of things were transferable. So I ended up doing a lot of, I started taking just entrepreneurial courses, leadership courses, business development, in a sense that it allowed me to learn more, especially marketing efforts. When you market, how do you reach this out to other consumers? And it was a learning curve, but I love it. I love the part of now understanding, what is everybody asks you, what's your value proposition? What is it that you're offering to your consumers? What are their pain points? So if that's something from the business side of learning the business languages of, to have your business grow.
And then, especially when you're talking directly to the consumer, you have to have a clear message that resonates with them at emotional level. And I think your product really checks those boxes in terms of this is a point where when you're a new parent, you literally can't see your child for a period of time. And that's a big source of anxiety. So if you solve that problem, that's a big emotional problem to solve for parents.
It is. And like I said, this is something that I do resonate with. I don't think enough people talk about how this moment in life, when you become a parent, it's like your life will never be the same again. And it comes with some amazing joys and amazing rewards. But at the same time, it's like you're going through a growth stage personally for yourself of this new way of living. So now when you get out of the house, it takes a little bit longer. You're always trying to figure out something new. I was sharing with other moms the other day that you're kind of always flying off the seat of your pants because there's always these first time moments for you as a parent. And again, so with this particular pain point, it was the anxiety. It was the fact that mom is nervous. You would even have moms that might not drive during the day, and they're waiting for their partner to get home so that they can go somewhere because they're afraid of the fact that they're not going to be able to see their babies when they're driving or this nervousness. So now this zooby actually allows them to, to be able to have that freedom, to be able to see. And again, to calm their nerves a little bit, to relax. I think when it comes to even product development at Infanttech, we're actually in the process of creating something new. And my point for that, it has to be easy to use and it has to make parenting easier. If it doesn't do those things, then it's not something that we're going to create.
Now, why was it important for you to become part of the Webeck West community?
I actually, in part of my journey for learning more about entrepreneurship and business, I obviously built a network. I did a lot of programs that were women-led, women organizations. So I have a lot of women entrepreneur friends. And so WeBank came in and it made sense too, because I was proud of the fact that we're a woman-owned business. And the more I was in it, I realized there's some amazing resources in there. But there's something about business, you cannot do it alone. And there are so many resources out there to try to help you to build. So for WeBank, there are all these different seminars. There's networking events. You meet amazing women. Last week, actually, I just joined it was the Pitch Academy session. And it was amazing. It was a session to get realigned with my why, with my product proposition. And the tool was so invaluable that I even afterwards was sharing with my other network friends. I'm like, hey, were you part of WeBank yet? If you're not, I think you should join. There's amazing resources. And so there's so much value. And it's also an opportunity to give back. I also appreciate supporting other women business owners. It's one of my passions. I know what it is to be at the beginning of starting the business, and there's always a challenge that you have to solve. So if there is something that I can do to help another woman take another step forward in reaching her vision, then I'm really happy to do that. So this organization allows me to do that as well.
So what's next for Infanttech? Are you looking to grow? Are you continuing your growth? Are you looking to raise money? Are you building a team? What's on the horizon?
Maybe all of those things. We're definitely in a scaling phase right now. I think that is one of my biggest pieces right now is getting building a bigger team in the sense of from the strategic side. For example, right now, it's like I'm expanding my marketing efforts, my marketing team, and even product development. I'm very excited of some new products that are coming in line. We're going to be launching something very soon in the breathing space. And I'm just excited about that because I think the vision of where Infanttech can be, really using tech in a way where it's intuitive, it's simple to use, but we can make a difference for parents and moms, then, the ideas are there. We also, even for the zooby, would like to there's a possibility to get into, automotive partnerships. So that's something that we're looking into as well. And, everything is really like, how do we get to the next level?
So if somebody wants to learn more about zooby and the other products, what's the website?
Infanttech.com. So that's with 2 T's.
So just spell that INFANTTECH.com?
Yes.
Well, Lizette, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing such important work and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Lee. I really appreciate you having me.
All right. This is Lee Kantor. We'll see you all next time on Women in Motion.